Well, it's 5:30, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. As I get started, I know that I realize that there might be some people coming in, but I do want to make sure to respect everyone's time who is here. As we get started, can we do a quick sound check? Can you guys hear me okay? And can you guys see the PowerPoint okay?
Yes, we can. I can see it and hear it.
Yeah, I can
Good.
see it here.
Perfect. We're in good shape then. Just make sure to mute your microphones now and then unmute it at any time you want to share your thoughts or have questions or questions that I might ask you guys. Muting the microphone helps cut down on the background noise. So I do really appreciate that you would do that at this time. So welcome everyone and good evening to our Module 5 live session. Here is tonight's overview of the agenda for what we will be covering. We will start out like usual with introductions. I will reiterate the live classroom expectations. Some important reminders coming up. We'll have a quick check-in, talk about the course project, lesson plan, and then we will discuss Chapter 8's case study. I want to share a little bit about myself. As most of you guys know, I live in Minnesota and I am a director of a Head Start program for a community action in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. My favorite children's book changes from time to time. My current favorite is the Bearstein Bears series. My daughter is really into those series right now, and I like that the books teach important life lessons. So yeah, now I'd like you guys to participate and share where you're from, um, your favorite child's book, and
Hi,
why.
everybody. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I wasn't interrupting anybody, was I?
No, I just said and why. You're good.
Oh, okay, cool. So my name is Lucretia Johnson, and I'm from Columbus, Ohio, born and raised. Um, I work with a mixed age group, and my favorite children's book would be The Goodnight Moon. Um, why? I just remember my room just being, my mom used to buy those glow in the dark stars and hang up on the ceilings type thing. We always would get that book read to us before bed.
Thank you for sharing, Lucretia.
Uh-huh, no problem.
This is Heather. I'm in Kansas City, and my kids are all older teenagers, so it's been a while since I've read children's books since I'm not in a facility right now. But I liked reading them. All of the How Does a Dinosaur Say Goodnight? That was probably our favorite one. Just the different, and the reason I liked them was just the different things that kids might experience when it's time to go to bed, the different routines and why it's okay and not okay for certain things. And that's why I like those.
Thank you for sharing, Heather.
Hi, my name is Dewana Deidre, and I'm from Alabama. And my favorite book would have to be the Rainbow Fish, because it teaches the children that no matter what you have, that you can always share. And he was happier sharing at least just one little piece of himself with his friends.
Thank you, Dewana, for sharing. I know we have a few that are in the chat box. I will share. We have Janae on. She's from Chicago. her favorite book is The Cat in the Hat because she loves that movie, and in her classroom they made green eggs and ham, and the children loved it. Yeah, green eggs and ham. I actually read that to my daughter um, last week when it was Dr. Seuss's birthday week. So read a book each night, different different Dr. Seuss books. We actually own the whole collection of them, which is kind of cool. Also Jen typed in the chat box that her favorite books is Froggy books. Um, do you have an explanation of why you like that, Jen? As she is I'm assuming she's typing a response. Um Kyra also replied that she's also from Chicago and her favorite book is Mommy Loves Me because I love how it teaches children how much their parents love them. Yeah, perfect. Um, and then Jennifer replied about the why. Froggy goes through so many different things that children also go through. That is, I like the Froggy books too. I actually like all of them that you guys said. They're all good books. Well, thanks everyone for sharing. As we continue on, just a little bit. So you probably guys all know, if you are attending the live session, you are expected to engage with myself and your other fellow students about the course concepts. The purpose of the live session is really for open dialogue and um, having any questions that you may have about course concepts or anything else. And as most of you guys know, if you cannot attend the live session, the video will be posted of the recording the next day. And then you must complete the live session quiz to earn credit, which you would have to answer the questions that I asked the class during the presentation in order to receive full credit. Pretty straightforward. Just wanted to touch up on that. So we are approaching the last day of class pretty quickly. It's just over 1 week away on Friday, March 19th. We will have no assignments per college policy will be accepted after 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time on that date. So plan accordingly. You guys have an extremely busy week this week, so be really proactive to try to get your stuff in. And if you guys are falling behind, it's a good week to get your guys' stuff in. I would say some credit is better than no credit, so just really ensure that you guys mark that on your calendar. Friday, March 19th, we will have will be the last day of class. So no assignments. We'll go to module 5 discussion. Will be due tonight at 11:59 Central Standard Time. The module 5 discussion responses, as usual, will be due on Saturday, which is March 13th. And then the module 5 course project lesson plan part 4 will be due on Sunday, March 14th, along with also the exploration module 5 exploration assignment, which will also be due on the 14th as well. And then next week, module 6 discussion, that's also due next Tuesday. For next week, you will not have to have any responses to peers or myself. are required, and then you have an exploration assignment that's due. So basically, you have the discussion next week and the exploration assignment. So basically, this week is really the busy week where you have a lot of things that are coming in. So just like I said, really be proactive. Look at your schedule. Try to organize your schedule so you guys could get your assignments in on time. Checking in. So, how are things going as we are near the end of the course? What are your guys' reactions to last week's content? Any key takeaways that you learned? Did you have any aha moments? Yeah, kind of want to hear from you guys. And it looks like Kyra had a question. She said, are you accepting Module 6 assignments early? Yes, you could turn in your Module 6 assignments early if you choose to do so. It's always benefit to turn your assignments in early if you can, if you have that time.
Hi, I'm Dawana. Well, one of my key takeaways from just so far being within the modules that we have done was that it's so many resources that we can use for like accommodations. Like most of the accommodations with me working within kids, it was just stuff that I thought of off top of my head. But I did not realize there was so many resources out there that like literally could break down each accommodation and each modification. So that was like wow moment for me within so far within the course.
Thank you for sharing, Joanna.
So I would say one of my, well, several of my aha moments was just the videos that we had to watch to go with that exploration assignments we've been doing for the last couple of modules. I think the videos gave me more of a visual for another classroom, of course, it always makes it better when you're in a classroom setting, what to look for, what to observe, and just different things you can take away from. But I think it gave me better understanding just for me to get it, comprehending it all together. The videos and how each teacher was talking and what they do, it was just all of that was just helpful. Like I always look forward to watching those videos. So yeah, I really enjoyed several of those videos we had to do and watch.
That's good feedback too, Lucretia. Seeing, yeah, another center, it's hard when you don't see another classroom, and sometimes it's good to see those videos just to see people are actually doing.
This is Heather. I agree with Lucretia. I liked the videos, especially the one that had the three, I think it was three instructors, and how they dealt with the guidance when there was some behaviors in the classroom that they needed to address, and how they did it in different ways that they approached it, and how they used the their coworkers, the other staff, to kind of help just the different ways of talking with the kids, redirect.
Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing, Heather. We also have a few in the comment box. Jennifer related that if one of her aha moments was why not to use timeouts and the effects that it has on a child. Yeah, that's a good one. Janae said so far the assignments are going well, and she's been checking her grades every day and making sure she's turning in her assignments. And most important, reading the announcements. Kyra also said class is going well. takeaway from Module 4 is learning to deal about challenging behaviors. Yeah, helped her come up with some strategies on how to work with different students. That is one really good thing that you guys could possibly take away with this class and any other guidance strategies classes that you might have is how to deal with those challenging behaviors. A lot of times you will find that one way or your way doesn't actually is not really effective, and having a bunch of, I call it, tricks up your sleeve or strategies that you have just so you could be prepared for when you might need to use them to engage students and help them guide their behavior. So yeah, that's all good stuff and good feedback. Thank you, ladies, for sharing. If you are viewing this presentation, make sure you also answer these questions. As we move forward tonight, wanted to take a few minutes just to outline the course project lesson plan, part 4. So you will be completing your lesson plan that you have been working on all term. You will be addressing how you can extend the lesson outside of the classroom. So the first activity is something the family can do together at home. So you will come up with a family involved activity. Really get creative when you do this. Maybe your lesson plan is about dinosaurs, so you send home a family project for the child to work on with their parents, where they could choose a dinosaur and create it using household items. The goal here is really just to get the families involved in what the child is learning in a fun and engaging way. So yeah, and then now the next thing, you will come up with an activity to extend learning into the community. Now this could be something for the community, like creating a little free library outside your school after a lesson in which the child or the children created. So like, for example, an All About Me book. Or it could be an activity in the community, such as a trip to the park to go on a scavenger hunt, or for different shapes during a lessons on shapes. So there's different ways that you could do to extend that learning into your community through your lesson plan. The third section, what I want you to think of beyond the lesson to your overall interactions with families in your center. So you should come up with 3 ways you can include and engage families in your program. You may create a family wall outside each classroom to post a photo of each family and fun facts about them. Or you could host family nights at the center where you provide maybe some dinner and play some games. Or have a chili cook-off. Um, I know when I was a site director at a before and after care in Colorado, one of the things I did was partner with the school district, and we had a huge event called the chili cook-off where a lot of people actually joined through the community. So, I mean, there's just different things that you could do. And, I realize that some of these ideas are not an option right now in the midst of Corona, but it's okay. I'm hopeful that we will not be living in quarantine society forever. So, it is okay to come up with ideas that you could use in the future. And I really challenge you guys to do that. The last thing I wanted to include, at least is like 3 ideas on how you can support individual families. Be sure to include details on how you will implement your ideas. For example, don't just say hold parent-teacher conferences. Give ideas on how you can create a welcoming environment and build trust with parents. And maybe you could, I don't know, create a portfolio of the child's work to display the child's abilities and their strengths. Um, Perhaps you can set up two tables right next to each other. Uh, One for you and then the parents to sit and talk to one another. For the child to sit and then play a quiet activity. I really want to see you guys use your creativity. These are not just ideas for an assignment, but hopefully these are ideas you can implement in your classroom someday. So I really do hope that these examples are helpful. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Does anyone have any questions? See, I have a few in the chat box. Looks like Carrie Ann joined. Um, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, it might be your connection then, Carrie Ann, if you can't hear me, because it seems like the rest can hear me. I know the first night, the first module that we did, I was having some connectivity problems where you guys couldn't hear me, but it seems like that you guys are able to hear me, which is great. Um, yeah, just try to reconnect if you can't. Um, can you guys have any questions about this regarding the assignment of what you have to do? I just hope that I gave you guys some good information and some, just ideas that you could use.
I have a question. As far as like us putting the whole project together, like, will it be like penalized to count it off if we have like, because once we put 3 under each one of those under this last module, it's going to be kind of long, so it won't be penalized for it being too long, will it?
Oh, never.
Okay.
If the more detail, the better. You just
Okay.
want to make sure, basically, you just want to make sure that you have those ideas, and I mean, you can make it as long as you want. You can make it as short as you want. Just make sure that you include all the criteria. And I always say, always go back to the rubric when you guys are doing your assignment, because that's basically what I'm looking at when I do grade your guys' assignments.
Okay, thank you.
And then it looks like Jen has a question. She says about Module 6 discussion, do we need to reply to a post? I did share that earlier. Can anybody answer her? Does anybody remember?
No, we don't have to reply to a post. We just have to do our initial post by Tuesday at 11:59 p.m.
Perfect. Yep. So yeah, just make sure you have it done by 11:59 p.m. Nothing is required of you as far as me responding or you responding. Any other questions before we move on to the last thing for the night? All right, here and seeing that there are no questions, I'm going to move on. So, In chapter 8, there's really a lot of good information regarding collaborating with families and communities, from community outreach to parent conferences, collaborating with school districts for transition to kindergarten, parent night, volunteering, dealing with different family dynamics. There's just a lot of information and a lot of good information. I always note, and I tell this to the teachers that are in our program and to my education managers, that parents are the first child's teachers, and they are the ones who are responsible for what their children know upon entering school. As educators, it's really our responsibility to really be sensitive to the families that really don't attend different school functions. And there's a lot of reasons why. So I wanted to talk to you. I'm sure a lot of you guys probably didn't get a chance to read the chapter 8 case study. So I'm going to read it to you guys. And then with these questions that are on here, it says, what's your thoughts regarding the case study? And then how does your program connect with they connect with families in the community? So now having said that, having said that, I'm going to read you guys the case study. Or if you guys have your books, your ebooks, you could read it yourself. Just want to hear from you guys. Do you guys want me to read it, or do you guys want to read it and then talk about it?
I read the chapter 8. I don't remember a case study. Did I miss something? Are you talking about in the chapter 8 reading assignment?
Yes. There was a case study in there about a teen mother and being single.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that was the case study. Okay, sorry.
No worries. Looks like there's a few folks who might want me just to talk about it, so I'll just read it real quick, and then we could discuss. It says, as I reflect back and move forward, there is no doubt that I was a troubled teen. Upon graduation from high school, I found out that I was pregnant. What were my options? What would life hold for my child and me? As a young Indigenous working class woman, would I become another casualty to societal inequities that would position my child to follow a path of poverty and disempowerment? Yes, I had a loving family, and yes, I had personal drive, but I didn't have wealth, racial, or gender privilege. Because of my perseverance and my familial love, I entered an urban community college. There, I met a faculty member who helped me empower myself. Without his belief in me, I may not have been able to believe in myself. My daughter was born at the end of my first year. I was worried about how I could continue school and care for my newborn. My mentor encouraged me to bring her to school when my family was unable to help. He would watch her in his office as I attended class. I had an academic home. Not all my experiences were positive, but because I was a teenage mom, I was often talked down to, expected to do poor academically, and it was assumed that I provided inadequate care for my child. For example, I was strongly encouraged by the college to attend parenting classes. Although I learned valuable information about the importance of play and had a wonderful opportunities to learn songs and games with my child, I was also positioned as the teenage mother, the at-risk parent. These educators failed to understand that my experiences gave me an incredible life tool. I was raised by a hardworking single mother and a loving family. My parental funds of knowledge came from a loving community that cherished each other. Um, We may not have always been lavish with extravagant gifts, but we were always immersed in love. In reflecting back, I realized how much I believe in the power of fierce hopefulness through mentorship and love. For me, the stereotypical portrayals of teen moms and social inequities were what could have been my roadblocks. I urge all teachers and caregivers to examine their biases about teen moms and the social issues that impact the lives of young mothers. Every mom, as well as every child, deserves empowering spaces where they can succeed. Now, having said that and listening to that, what are your thoughts regarding the case study and how does your programs connect with families and communities?
Okay, I would like to go first. This is Kyra,
Hi,
and
Kyra.
uh, I would like to say that I can partially relate to the mother herself because I am expecting to be due August 23rd. But
Congrats.
um thank you. And it's just it's sometimes it is hard to when people are talking down on you and they don't understand your situation. But also I feel like she did in a way reach out for help and people did extend their help toward her. Um yeah, that's what I wanted to say. But for how does your program connect with families and community? Um I feel like our program in Illinois, they really try to help mothers who like are in low income. So you have like different programs where low income mothers can go to and they could sign up for different things to be able to get help with their child and themselves.
That's great. That's great that you guys have resources like that. We actually have we are funded through it's called Northland Foundation here where we have a hub like a navigator to navigate pregnant pregnant women who are struggling with financial help. So I think that's a really huge thing too in trying to find them in the rural communities here, which is huge. But yeah, I know for me, you should really never judge a parent because, honestly, you guys, nobody understands what their life and upbringing and culture are. And I think as educators, what we can do is be positive and support keep on reaching out and provide assistance where needed. Um, I do think that the mentor did an excellent job in aiding and providing the support and resources for Kristen and in the case study. I think sometimes, in life we do go through these roadblocks. In marathons, it's hitting the wall and then thinking you want to give up and quit. And, it's good to have a positive morale support system to help you along the way. So when you do hit those roadblocks, that you have somebody to pick you up because sometimes it's hard just to do it by yourself.
I have to agree, like within the case, like you were saying, like not judging people. My whole thing of when I'm in the classroom, I don't know what kind of morning that the kids have had. I don't know what kind of morning that the parents have had. So I kindly like do a positive good morning, how are you? I reach out to them as often as possible. Like right now we're doing virtual learning and a lot of the resources of the stuff that we have at school, the parents don't have at home. So, of course, the way we do it is we do a day at the school. We go to the school, spend the whole day. We get the material that we'll use. We put it in some bags or something, and we just ask the parents if they'll swing by and pick it up. We send out newsletters through our school system. We're through OSR. And we have like a newsletter that goes out to the parents, letting them know like it's okay if you're having you have to take a day for yourself. Like nobody is judging you. You have to take your day for yourself in order to provide for your family. You need to have strength yourself. You can't be drained and ran down in order to take care of kids. So I mean, we offer as many resources as we can, and I thought like the case study was like very interesting to hear and read, because I think that was a good job for the mentor to be like, okay, the teacher was like, bring the child to class and let the child sit in there. That was a great story, and that was good that he did that.
Thank you for sharing, Dewana.
Yeah, so kind of piggybacking off of everybody, I think it's kind of the same. It's so many different resources like we offer and that's out there for many parents. And I think it's a struggle when they don't know how many, resources can benefit them. So you have to be that one to kind of like, inform them with information. I know with us, we have a partnership. Well, we're early Head Start, but we do provide like diapers and wipes for our center, for the kids. And depending on how many orders we get, we normally do like half and half. So we'll take half, for the center so they can have them at home, and then the other half will go with them pull-ups, diapers, or wipes with the mom or dad. So it's different, and we do like a family night. Now, it hasn't really been none of that because of the COVID. So we've been doing a lot of drive-throughs, whatever you want to call it. Um, and that's like every second Wednesday. So one is coming up tomorrow, and we load their trunk up with, just type of food stuff. And it'd be normally like resource tables, care source, just dental information, a lot of stuff. A lot of parents don't have that with kids. So it's very informed when it comes to, the resources and what they can get from that.
Thank you for sharing, Lucretia. Yeah, resources are huge for families. And, just like families, they need some time for themselves. As teachers too, think about you guys. You guys also need time for yourself as well. I mean, for me, that's in order for you guys to successfully and carefully and have quality care for children, you guys need to make sure that your mental health is going well, as so you guys could actually support the families the best you can. And that might be taking a day off or two. I tell my staff quite a bit, like if you have things going on, take a day off for yourself, because what you don't want is to work yourself to where you're not fully competent in doing the best job possible. The children, just like the families, they need you, and they need all of you. They need 100% of you, not just 48% or 50% of you. So that's just one thing to keep in mind too when we do talk about this. We also talk about teachers and burnout, and it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. Because it could get the best of you.
I have a question. How do you all handle when you're pretty sure there's a family that's in need, and maybe there's a couple that are in need, but they haven't, really come to you and asked, or you can tell maybe their pride might be in the way. How do you approach that so that you're not, embarrassing them or offensive? Or I assume you'll have a relationship with those families by the time you're doing that, to where they would accept your, if you have some resources for them to check out. Just wondering if anybody had any ideas.
That's a good one. I really don't. Well, you know what? I will say this. I was in a situation where mom was struggling with like diapers and wipes, and like I said, this was way before my partnership with us being a early Head Start center now. But it would be to the point where our program coordinator would just go across the street to Dollar General and like, with the company card, get her diapers and wipes, because it was to the point where she'll come in, she was like 1.5 at the time, and her diapers would be like, I mean, full. Like, I was to the point where I was concerned, like, I didn't know what to do. So I went to my program coordinator. So the best advice that I can give is, if it's genuinely like a concern, and not, you got some that's like wanting to talk about the situation, and you got some that's like really caring and want to know what's going on. So I always went to my program coordinator or center manager about it, and like, what should we do moving forward? So me personally, I never like approach the parent, because I always went to, because we have to like follow chain of command where I'm at. So I always went to, my center manager and program coordinator, and kind of express my thoughts and my feelings about it. So that's the only thing I can kind of say right now, because, I always went to the people above me to, before I can even say anything, just because I wouldn't want them to look at me any type of way as well too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So with our school that I'm with, we actually we set up a conference. Like if we have an issue or something, or we think that the parent might be in need, we set up a conference with that parent and we talk it out, or we just have like a list of resources. They do like little newsletters, and we'll make sure that the parents have every single newsletter for every resource to see how that would go. But usually we have like a open communication with our parents. We do it during conference. So most of our parents at the school I'm at feel very comfortable with coming to us and just telling us like if they have an issue, if they need help with something.
Thank you for sharing, ladies.
Thank you.
That's a good question, Heather. I mean, I do have somebody in my family who is low income and who does struggle um, greatly, and sometimes, the pride factor does get into the way, because she thinks she can do it herself. And I think, I think meeting them where they are at, and not trying to overstep is huge. Because you want to ensure that you respect their, what they want, but you know, I think that actually getting to know them on a personal level, like everybody has kind of mentioned, is probably the best case scenario, just because then you do know what they need, and then the relationship is there, and the more and more you connect with them, the more and more the relationship builds, and there's more trust in it.
Yes,
That's
I agree with that one. Because like I said, it kind of puts you, because like I said, you got people that's just so judgy these days. Like, I've seen it for myself, and I'm kind of just like, what if that was me in a situation like that? I always think about, if I was in that person's shoes, just for a day, me just not having any kids, but when I go in, the moment I clock in and take care of those kids, they are in my care. So them are my kids, like when I'm in that room 8 hours a day, or however many hours you're working with them. So it's kind of like, the pride thing, I can kind of see it with parents, but at the same time, you want them to know, like, you care. Like, if there's any, I always ask my parents to tell them, like, is there any questions or concerns? Like, please just let me know. So, I can go to the people that's above me and express that. That'll make me feel better. Like, okay, I'm doing my job, but I'm actually showing them that I care, So it's just, it depends on the person and the situation and stuff like that too, because everybody's not like that these days, because I've seen it with my own eyes, and it's kind of unfortunate, but you just got to be mindful, just, I think, being mindful of everybody's situation, in a time like this right now is just kind of hard, and it's already challenging for all these parents to barely get their child to school on time, because every center has a cutoff time. So, you just got to be mindful of little stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely need to be accommodating for sure, and showing that compassion for your families is huge, because Yeah, you just don't know what somebody's walking through for sure.
Yeah, and how do you keep from not wanting to save everybody? Like, not like I said, I'm not in a center yet, but I know myself and I know my heart and I know I want to help everyone. How do you keep yourself from not, or do you?
I
Not
think
from wanting to get to where you just want to help everybody, and like that case study that mentor was babysitting that the students.
It's oh, I'm so sorry. I'm unmuted. But I wanted to just chime in on what you just said. It's really hard. At the previous school I worked, like my boss used to tell me like I'm too invested into my children. Because if I seen like a child wasn't eating or didn't have clothes or didn't have proper bottles, I would supply all the stuff for my children, whether they were my kids in my classroom or not. It's like so hard when you get to know these kids and you're so invested. It's so hard not to care, like, and not just to do your job and teach them, but you want to nurture them like they're your own kids. Like it's very hard. I know
Yeah.
from my point of view because it was one child at my previous daycare before I had my son. his his parents weren't, they couldn't afford certain stuff, so I would like send like stuff in his book bag every week for them, new bottles, pacifiers, little clothes here and there. I would buy extra wipes and like pack it in his book bag for his family. But not too many people would take it really good, but they were really appreciative about it. But I got in trouble at my job for doing it because they said I was crossing the line. Yeah, that's kind of like me. And the only advice that I can give, like, because it kind of makes you feel like, okay, this is who I am, like I genuinely care, but, you don't want to have to change who you are for anybody, like, and I just feel like, we don't have enough of those educators that's like that, so it kind of puts, I get kind of sensitive with stuff like that because I've seen so many parents, leave because they didn't feel like, us as teachers, we didn't care just because, we have to follow these rules. Well, it was times that, you know, I will go on my break and, get stuff because I knew I was doing an incident report for a whole week because they didn't, have clothes to bring in for their cubby. So it just kind of depends on, your center and the rules and all of that stuff. But, as a person, it can just be like, okay, I get what you're saying. You know what? I don't even know what else to say. It just kind of changes. It does because it puts you in a tough spot, so you don't want to kind of change who you are, but at the same time, just kind of still be there for them. Rather, it's just, positive conversation just to keep them going, or encouraging words, if you feel like that's out of your control. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Yeah, I can see the challenge with that. I really can.
And I would like to think that giving them the resources to get the help on their own outside of the center would be probably the most beneficial, because that's kind of like leading the horse to water theory.
Yeah.
You get them to the right spot, and they have to take that step to take advantage of it, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe, I
Yeah.
don't know.
And Heather, you're exactly right. You guys are all exactly right, but I think you hit something right on the nose. It's just like our kids that we have in our care. We want to promote independence. We want them to develop and grow in a healthy way. And it's kind of the same thing with the parents too. We want to find them the resources and give them the tools to succeed in life so they can develop healthy, so they can, parents and in general, can become successful and get out of the situation that they're currently in. But it does, you could put somebody in the driver's wheel, but if they can't actually put the foot on the pedal and actually do it, I mean, that's a decision that they have to make intrinsically. So I really think that is all good stuff. And I do appreciate all the conversation that you had around it. It does kind of hit home for me too, and home for, I
Yeah.
know, a lot of you guys.
I
Um,
mean, and it's kind of like when you see it every day. I think that's why it hit me in so many different ways when I'm like there already in the setting. Like I'm seeing it. Like it's like I can only do so much. So it's just yeah, it's kind of like a tough topic. And then you got the parent side. Pride is in the way, and you can kind of tell. You know what I mean? So it's just yeah, it's just all you can do is just wish them well. That's all we do at our center. With the conscious discipline, we just wish our families well. And continue to encourage them if they are willing to listen, and just keep them updated with resources or anything that's coming up around the community. The newsletters, I can't stress enough, is so important. With whether you're doing a home child care or if you're working for a center, it's just so important to just keep something updated for the parents so they can see what's going on. Because I never really been a last minute person. That's just me. So to provide that for parents. Okay, next week we'll be having this. I think it'll be so helpful to just give that gentle reminder for them.
mhm. Yeah, definitely. I think we have some other people's comments in the chat. I just want to share as well. Jen said that their program does a lot of family fun nights for the local community. Also dental day in her school districts for families that are in need. Janae says that one of her students in the classroom had poor hygiene, and the kids noticed the smell and started to notice the clothes, and he had he has on she did contact the parent letting her know that we have to change clothes, and she was feeling bad for the child coming in smelling like that. I mean, also, I think, you know, hygiene's a really, really tough one for me. Just thinking about hygiene, and yeah, it's kind of finding that line of, what's cultural and what's neglect, and really hard to decipher that. But I think getting them a change of clothes and resources to help them is really huge. Um, but yeah, really good conversation regarding that. If you guys are also listening to this recording, please answer these questions in paragraph format. Does anyone else have any other conversation around this topic? I'm sure we probably could talk about this for a long time too.
Oh yeah.
Because it's an ongoing thing, and I think the biggest thing is meeting those families where they are and just helping them. And I think Heather hit it on the nose when she said promoting that independence, and giving them the resources to get out of the situation that they're in. But a lot of it is a choice too. I mean, what you do with those resources is another thing. You could provide all you want, but if people don't act on the resources, it's it's another issue too.
Yeah. Well, moving forward, I will just tell everybody and my classmates that's listening, just wish everyone well. That's all I can really do and been doing. And still, being in this pandemic is just, things are slowly, and depending on the parent and the family, kind of gets better. Then, you got stuff that's just getting worse out here. So, depending on where you live at too, I don't know how everybody's numbers is, but it's like up and down here. So 1 minute things is open, the next minute things is closed. So it's not nothing consistent. I'm surprised that we're still, our numbers has been increasing, but maybe that's a good thing because parents are, getting back to work. You know what I mean? And you still got a lot of parents that's working from home. And so yeah, I just really tonight I wish everyone well right now. I really do.
Yeah, these are definitely just it's you just don't know what's going to happen from one day to the next, and I do feel like that there is light at the end of the tunnel at some point. But until then, we just keep pushing on, and we just keep advocating and doing what we do, and really promoting, um, giving quality care to our children. For sure. Does anybody have any questions for tonight? So if you do have any questions between now and when assignments are due, please reach out to me. If not, it was good getting to know each of you guys, and I wish you guys well, and I really want you guys to continue on working hard with those kiddos, and so we have the best outcomes for our families and children. So yeah. So one of the things I do at the end of my live sessions is I record who is here by typing your name in the chat box. If you guys could do that, that would be great. Thank you. Have a great night.
Happy birthday.